Oh no, I didn't have a sock for Santa to fill. What am I going to do? What I always do, make one. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. It is vlog number 434 for December the 8th, 2025. Getting closer every day to the big day, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel the crunch. Too many things happening this month. I'm looking forward to January when we can slow down. But have some coffee because my throat's a little dry. Yes, it was that kind of weekend. Okay, so let's jump right into what I've been working on. And here we go. You've seen it last week on So Chatty, and when I finished it, rented lips this morning. Sorry. Yeah, must be the temperature. It's cold. It's very cold here. Anyways, I digress, as I often do. This is called Mistletoe. It's the pattern by Chelsea Stratton, and it's done. I have it all quilted, I have it all bound, and I have it actually draped over a couch as part of my Christmas decorations, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. More about this little sucker tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. And plus, I did this, and this is another table runner. Do I need another table runner? No, I don't. This one's called Pine Cones, and tomorrow we'll dissect this one because I learned something new as I was making this, and I often do. Learn new things. It's what keeps me going. So we'll talk about this tomorrow in a little bit more detail as well on the Idiot Quilter. So that was a quick little teaser as to projects I've been working on, and I got to get out of this mode of making more Christmas things because, well, as you're going to see a little later on, yeah, I'm still doing it. So let's talk about the YouTube channel of the week. And this one is hilarious. It is called the Goes Wrong, hard to say, the Goes Wrong Show. And essentially what it is I think it's probably a BBC series. I don't know if it's, well, it seems to be very current, so I have a feeling that it's still running in the UK. And basically they present a play every week to a studio audience, and nothing goes right. And that's where the humor comes. But here's my review of the show, but this is so hard to say. The Goes Wrong Show. This week's YouTube video is a very hilarious take on small theater productions, and it's called The Goes Wrong Show. And this every week shows you a different play being performed that has millions of errors in it. Hilarious areas. It's slapstick. It's scenery falling down, people muffling up their lines in very hilarious ways. The whole thing is really, really funny. So if you want something that's an amusing little time waster, I recommend strongly that you check out The Goes Wrong Show on Lionsgate TV, and the link is in the show notes. So as usual, there is a link to that in the show notes. There's also a link to Sewing with Stephen, a Zoom event that I hold every week on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. And all are welcome. It is an open sew. Bring your projects, whatever, and have a good time with other like-minded individuals. Okay, and there's all kinds of other links. And if you're not in the custom of, excuse me, of looking at the show notes for not just for my channel, but for anybody's channel, be sure to do so, because we use those show notes as content creators to give you what we think are useful and valuable links to other things. Some people aren't aware where the show notes are. They're right underneath the video. And if you look carefully, there'll be a sentence or two of description, and then you'll see the word more. Click on the word more, and that will expand it. And that's where you'll see all kinds of good stuff that you may not be aware of is there. I have links to some of my patterns, well, all of my patterns actually, that I have made over the past year or so, and they're all free. They're on my Google Drive. So you click on the link, you download it, it's a PDF, away you go. I'm sorry about my throat. Happens to me every week. I say this all the time, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay, there are links to my friends' channels as well. So do check out their um, channels because, well, they're worth checking into. And there's links to other things, to my past videos in the past week or two. Okay, so let's take a look at what things are looking like. Oh, I just missed one project, so I'm backing up here. Rewind. I forgot this. I forgot this because I made this some time ago, the top, and I just got it quilted. When I quilted mistletoe, I quilted this as well. And for the life of me, I don't remember if this was actually a pattern or I made it up. I'm not sure. I think I made it up. I mean, it's a basic block, you know, like, can you make up a new block? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I'll talk more about it possibly tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter as well. Okay, this is what I wanted. And look at, doesn't it look pretty out there with that blue glow? The blue glow is basically our Christmas lights. They are on a cycle. They change different colors. And when I took this screen capture from the Ring camera, they just happen to be in the blue spectrum. But I think it's really kind of pretty. And probably, you know, because blue is a cool color, it's kind of appropriate for today's weather because today, right now, it is minus 14 Celsius. Brr, that's cold. So, yeah, and I'm about to go out for my morning walk soon. Walter already came out of a deep sleep and warned me if I was going out this morning that there were icy patches. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I'm sure there are. But yeah, we have been getting a little bit of snow basically every day. Just a little bit, not much, but it does accumulate, as you can see. This is by no means a lot of snow. This is at the stage where snow looks pretty. You know, there's a light bit of snow on the trees. There is, you know that it's snow. It's not grass peeking out of there on the whole bit. And with the lighting and things at this time of the day, it glows. It's got kind of a Christmassy, Christmas card kind of look to it, I guess. That will change, as everything does. In fact, this week, I don't know if it's supposed to get colder or warmer. Today's high is supposed to be -6, so it's still going to be frosty. Doesn't look like there's any snow in the forecast. There is some sunshine, which is nice, but cold. And yeah, tomorrow, 65% chance of precipitation. And their little icons, I don't know if that's snow or rain. It looks like it could be snow rain. There is such a thing as snow rain, or they call it grapple, something like that. They've come up with a new term. Anyways, it's going to be warmer tomorrow. High is going to be -1. Wednesday, 90% chance of precipitation. Now that could be rain because the high is going to be 2. And then we go to -5, then we go to -1, then we go to -4, -4, -4, -1 a week from this Tuesday. And there is precipitation, but who knows what that's going to be. And anyways, this time of the year, they don't know what's happening. They have these predictions, but it changes on a daily basis. So yeah, it's winter and it's weather and it's nature and we can do nothing about it. I guess just enjoy the blue glow for now. So that takes me to what's pissing me off. And, you know, this is the time of the year when you shouldn't be really pissed off. You know, this is the time of your cheer, goodwill, fellowship to your fellow man, woman, child, animal, whatever. We're all supposed to be light, merry, and, pardon the expression, gay. But I'm not. I'm not because this is also the time of the year when everybody wants to crawl into your wallet. Or in my case, since I don't use cash for anything anymore, you know, get my account numbers, my plastic numbers, all those kind of things, right? And what I'm talking about is charities. Charities are a pain in the butt at the best of time. But at Christmas, they're even more so. Why? Because this is the time of the year when they really play on that goodwill to your fellow man and everything like that. They try to make you feel guilty for everybody else in the world who is suffering. We had a young lad come to the door the other night, and he was collecting donations for Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. Now, Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto does a lot of good for families who have, children with major medical problems. Sick Kids is the place to take them. It's a world leading hospital in child care. And I've got nothing against that. However, I don't have children. So why should I give them any money? I have never used Sick Kids in my life. Now, you're going to say, well, that's nasty. Really, the children are our future. Yeah, depends on what kind of future you want it. But anyways, yeah, I get it. And it's not that I hate kids, although I tell you I do. I was a teacher. I might be a little biased in one way or the other. But the point is, they stand there, and he said they would take any amount. Well, isn't that generous of that charity? Oh, you'll take anything. Oh, I thought you may have had a little box attached to your little bubble outside of a liquor store that has suggested dollar amounts and you use your credit card. If you don't get my reference, you haven't seen a Salvation Army collection point in a while. Yeah, Salvation Army, another one that's part of the charities I will not give to. There's no more of that little bubble. It's just there as a symbol. They have attached to a pole a keypad, and they have a dollar amounts on it. You tap your credit card, at least here in Canada, we tap our credit card, and you push one of the buttons for the amount. And they have $20 and $10 and I think $5. Or I think the other one is other. So you can, if you want to give them $1 million, you can put that in. Don't know if your credit card limit goes that high. But yeah. And that annoys me too. And there they are. They're standing outside of a sin factory. Liquor. Liquor is a luxury item. So you're going in and you're dropping hundreds of dollars to get your supply of wine and beer and spirits for the Christmas season. And there's this person standing out there, what's another $20? Kind of a thing. You don't fool me. I don't give to Salvation Army because Salvation Army has a problem with my type of people, if you get my drift. Also, I have a problem with Salvation Army that they have shelters for homeless people, but there's a price to be paid to be fed and sheltered, because you've got to be bombarded with sermons telling you why you're an evil person and come to Jesus and he will save you from that kind of life. I don't see Jesus stepping up to that ball and tapping his credit card. Just saying. But anyways, back to the Sick Kids Hospital. Major charity. They're constantly looking for money. Yeah, I get it. It's medical. They do a lot of good. It costs a lot of money for research into things and to maintain the staff, the buildings, the doctors, the surgeons, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get it. However, we've also done some investigation. And there are a lot of these huge charities like Sick Kids Hospital where not every penny of your charitable donation goes to, as they would like to frame it, life-saving research. In fact, I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on this, but I think Sick Kids is one where about 60 to 65% of your donation goes to administration. And those administrators, the CEOs and whatnot of these charities, make 6-digit salaries or more. Yeah. They're poor. Yeah. I mean, yes, they need to be paid for their efforts, but do they need to make possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars to over $1 million a year. Don't know about that. I dare say that that's probably more money than the doctors make. I don't know. Need to do more research on that. But back to my main point. So these charities come. Oh, and by the way, we didn't give the kid a dime. First of all, I'm not giving anybody that comes to my door anything. If I want to give to a charity, I can go online. I can call up the charity at their official number or whatever and do it that way. I'm not giving some buddy that I don't know on the street, and I don't care if they're wearing a lanyard that says, "Hi, my picture's out and I'm from Sick Kids." Yeah, I could make one of those in 5 minutes on my computer. It's not a problem. So they could probably do it better than I can. But I digress. So we've got the guilt. They're standing out there, and in this time kind of year, you saw what it's like outside. It's cold. So there's this person out of the goodness of their heart volunteering to come and collect money from people for charities. And you feel sorry for them because they're so cold. Yeah, and they're also being paid. A lot of them now, it's not that these people are volunteering to do this. They are being paid to do it. Okay, good for them. This was a young lad. He's probably university, probably could use the bucks, right? I have nothing against that at all. But, the opportunity was there for him to get hired to do this dirty work for a charity. I blame not him, I blame the charity. Well, let's talk about some of the other charities. Well, of course, Salvation Army, they love to stand outside of places that are considered, luxury, like the liquor store. If you've got money for liquor, you've got money to donate. That's their philosophy. Now you're being bombarded in the grocery stores. You're checking out the price of food. My God, most of us need to have a charity so we can afford to put a decent Christmas dinner on the table. We went looking for a turkey. Yeah, turkeys were on sale at one grocery store, a chain, like one of those discount type. Well, we got there, they were picked over. Well, that's to be expected because they don't get that many in to start with on that, because that's a thing to get you to come into the store to buy more things, right? Because you're not probably going to come in for just that one item. Well, the turkeys look more like chickens. That's the size of them. So needless to say, that was a no, thank you. We're not buying that. Walter finally went and found a decent sized turkey. Actually, he found a really big turkey, 22 pounder. It's a big bird. And it was sort of on sale, not as cheap as what the sale was. I think the sale at the No Frills store was about 99 cents a pound. I think Walter got the turkey he did get for $1.49 on sale. Regular price was $1.99 a pound or something like that, or $2.29. I don't know. It ranges in price. But that's still expensive for a turkey. And everything else in the grocery stores, your vegetables, everything else. I mean, it's been on the news. Right across North America, the prices for food are just going up and up and up. So, yeah, there's charities out there to help people, food banks. So you go through the checkout line and at the grocery store, and they want to, would you like to donate $5 to the food bank? No, I need to use the food bank. Thank you very much. I don't. But you know what I mean. No, I mean, I am sorry. I am very sorry that this is what our world has come to. That they said on the news, there's record numbers are using the food banks this year because of the cost of stuff. Yeah, our governments all pay us lip service about how they're going to bring down the price of groceries. That's what Trump's been telling people in the States, but that's what we've been told in Canada too. It's no different there whatsoever. It's not. And let's use our logical brains. How can our governments do that? Grocery stores are private businesses. That would be interfering with the businesses. And right now this year, grocery stores have been making in Canada, the big ones, record profits. I wonder why. And they're even predicting that for the average household of 4 people, next year they're going to be paying an extra $1,000 to feed their family. Makes me glad I don't have children. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a need out there for it, but if we're all paying higher prices on groceries, well, you can't get blood from a stone, can you? Really? You have to look after your own first. But that makes me feel guilty as I go through. The poor person at the checkout asking you for this money, you can see it in their face. Would you like to donate $5 to the food bank? They know they're probably going to be told no. It's just, but they have been told they have to do that. But it's making you feel guilty because you look in your basket and you see what you're buying, and even though it's costing you, an arm and a leg for it, you're thinking in your head, well, there are people less fortunate than me, and maybe I should do something for them. Again, is that donation really going to where they say it's going? Or is part of it going there and another part of it in administration? You don't know. You really don't know. And I am sure you can think of other examples of it. So 'tis the season for charities to make us feel really guilty. And I, for one, well, I do feel guilty. It works on me, but it doesn't work on me enough that I'm going to go out and, just take a wad of money in my hand and just it off to everybody. No. And if that makes me a Grinch or a Scrooge, so be it. I'm already a cranky old man, so what the hell? What's another couple of titles, eh? So, yeah, 'tis the season. You have to decide for yourself how you handle charity guilt. But I guess what I fall back on is, remember, charity starts at home. Look after your most immediate family. It would be nice to be able to feed the world, but if you can't feed your own people because of that, well, that's what I mean by charity starts at home. Okay, Merry Christmas. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about the grow lights. Nothing really to show you that you didn't see last week. Tomato crop is bumper. We've got more green tomatoes, more flowers on the plants. We have been eating the tomatoes. They are delicious. There's just something about growing your own. Our pepper supply is low. We're working on that. And when I say we, I mean Walter. And we've got a new crop of lettuce coming up, so that's good. And we have some basil. I got to start clipping some basil and throwing that in with our salads, because I like a little basil in a salad. It just gives you a little bit of a surprise when you're not expecting it in your mouth. And doesn't everybody love a little surprise in their mouth? Okay, moving on. So yeah, everything is growing nicely. And I was telling you about the little gnats, the little bugs. Well, thanks to one of my subscribers, Heidi, who suggested that those little things that I was putting white wine in, because I'd read that attracted them, she suggested white wine, a little water, a pinch of sugar, and a pinch of yeast. And that's working like a charm. I highly recommend it if you've got a little problem with those little bugs coming out of your plants. Because since I've been doing that, killed quite a few. And yeah, one or two of them escape every now and then, but it's not like it was before. So I think this is working really well. So that's a gardening tip for the week. Okay, moving on. New products. Well, you heard us talk on Stephen and Walter Live about our little furry creature that I may have barbecued that got into the flue, or not the flue, the vent of our gas fireplace. Yeah, Walter has since fixed that. So, and we haven't heard any more scratchy. And fortunately, we have not smelled anything that smells like barbecued chipmunks. or anything like that in there either. So I think when I turned on the fireplace and it got a little warm, you know, the little creature decided, this might be a little too toasty in here, and took off. That's what I'm hoping. Anyways, because I really didn't want to barbecue them, but if it's between them and me, well, guess who's going to win? So, at the time, then we started a discussion about CO2 detectors, and we have one. But we've had it for quite a while, and they do have an expiry. So we turned around and took a look at the expiry date for that. And we had found that, I'm just looking here for a picture of which ones we got, because there's so many to choose from, and I can't get this to do what I want it to do. Okay. Just give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I was well prepared, but apparently I was not. Anyways, the CO2 detectors, I took ours off the wall, looked at the back, and yeah, it expired not long ago. It only expired in October of this year. But yeah, we needed new ones. So I went on to Amazon, as one does, and I bought 3 of these. These are by Kidda. Kidda is a good brand for fire detectors, smoke alarms, and for CO2 detectors. They are pricey, as you can see, like $65 for one. I bought 3 because the recommendation, actually, we just found out it's not a recommendation. It is the law in our area that if you live in a 2-level house, you must have a CO2 detector on each level. And I bought 3 because I've got one upstairs, one downstairs, and the one upstairs, one of them is located close to the bedrooms. That's what they say you should do. And the other one is located in our living room that has the fireplace. It's a gas fireplace. And then, of course, the other one, as I mentioned, is downstairs because we have a gas fireplace downstairs as well. So I think we are well outlined with them. These new ones are so much easier. You don't plug them in or anything. Our old one went into an outlet. These ones have a lithium battery that activates once you activate you get it out of the packaging and everything, the detector, and it says they will last for 10 years. And it has a warning on it when it's time to change out the detector for a new one. And they're very small, compact. You can mount them on the wall, or you can they'll stand up on a counter. So that's what I've done. We didn't bother drilling any holes in the walls or anything like that. We've got them just sitting on, unobtrusively on tables or whatever, dresser in the bedroom, that kind of thing. So have a little bit of peace of mind. So maybe the little scratchy sounds we were hearing were just a reminder it was time to change the CO2 detectors. I don't know. Okay, moving on to, can I print this effing 3D thing? Well, yes, I can. I've been printing several. Just let me find my pictures. Okay. God, I'm just out of it today. Sorry. I did have a little wine on the weekend. And where are they? Okay. They're me. Yeah, bobbleheads. Now, I have made something like this before. There is a program on a free program on a site called MakerWorld. MakerWorld is put out by the manufacturer of the 3D printers I own, which are Bamboo. That's where I get a lot of my models and things like that. But this one, all you do is upload a picture of yourself or somebody else, and you click a few buttons, and it creates a 3-dimensional bobblehead of you. Now, the one on the left is in one color, and I kind of like him better. There's some flaws in him. He's not a perfect print, but I thought it did a really good job for, for the detail, for one thing. Except he kind of missed well, I guess my beard and mustache are there, but because everything's all one color, you can't really see it. So I decided to do one in multicolor, and well, the end result wasn't that great, as you can see. But I'm just experimenting with it. I think it's amazing that you can do this kind of thing. And if I did a little bit more tweaking with it, I could probably get a much better one. I'm not really that concerned about it. I did do one of Walter as well, but I did one of Walter and I together. This is actually the picture we use on Stephen and Walter Live on the splash screen. And that picture only is a shot of us from the waist up. Well, the AI decided to give us legs. Now, for some reason, it decided to give me long pants, but it gave Walter shorts. I don't know why. But then on the other hand, it also decided to remove Walter's arm. So, yeah. But lots of potential here. It also kind of aged us, I think. My face looks a little weird here. I don't know. Maybe my face looks a little weird all the time. But nevertheless, it's kind of fascinating technology, and it's just going to get better and better all the time. So I thought I would give that a try and see what would happen. And so, you've seen what's happened. And this guy, okay, I thought I was done making Christmas things, and then I find more. But I thought he was cute. So he's a little articulated sitting gnome. And I think he's really cute. And he sits there on our mantle for our downstairs fireplace and blends in with the rest of the decorations. And I just thought he was cute. What can I say? And in fact, I'm thinking of making a couple more of these little guys and a couple of other things that I haven't shown you today, but I will probably show you next week because our great nieces will be here on Christmas Day. And although they're getting a little old for, toys and things, one's in grade 9, the other one's in grade 7. I think it'll still give them a little bit of a thrill, just something special on Christmas Day for them. So yeah, that's my plans from that. Do I have anything else to show you on that? No, I do not. So that's what I've been up to on the 3D printers. And I've been up to other things, sewing as well, and we'll talk about that on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow. So that takes me to an old clip from an old edition of Stephen and Walter Live. This one I think goes back to 2018. And it's where we talk about our docet experience at our local art gallery. A docet, if you don't know what that is someone who is an educator at like an art gallery or wherever. And I had volunteered to take school kids around and talk about the artworks and things like that. I did enjoy that until they fired all of the docets. That's a story for another day. But then we were volunteering for an event they had on Friday nights once a month. And I ended up being a bartender, and Walter was basically security, sort of thinking, make sure people don't touch the art and stuff like that. Well, that wasn't particularly a positive experience either. So we have a little discussion about that. Walter especially discusses his experience with it in this little clip from an older Stephen and Walter Live.
Walter had a fun experience at RNG Fridays. Last week we were going to talk about this and I forgot. So we'll talk about it today about the latest installation in there. But, well, tell them about the children.
Well, this installation has a couple of components to it. And one of the things that they've got in this thing is, well, it's hard to explain it. But they have, I guess, as part of this installation, they have these great big, huge, what looks like push pins on the floor, right? And they're mounted on a round piece of plywood that's painted yellow. But they've got these big signs on the side of it. These things are big. They're like about 4 feet high. And push pins that go into, so they've got them there as sort of like take note kind of thing or something. There's about 3 of them in one of the galleries. And they're fairly big around. The thing around is about 3 feet around or something like this.
They're big.
They're big, right? And you're not supposed to touch them, right? So somebody comes in with 3 little kids, and what do little kids do? my kid took a run and leaped at the push pin and jumped right on top of it, and it started rocking. And the mother's going, "Oh, get away from that! Get away from that!" Because this is you're not supposed to touch, right? And these kids did everything they could to try and touch these things, right? Then there was a canoe on display there, and one kid grabs the canoe and starts rocking the canoe. I'm trying my best to stop them. Well, I'm not a teacher. He would have probably yelled at them, but I couldn't. I wasn't really yelling at them.
Hit them with a long stick.
Yeah, so anyway, so I was very uptight. But on the other hand, I was thinking, well, if they're idiots enough to put that stuff up in the middle of the floor, what do you expect, right?
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, we had our friends Bill and Mark from Toronto here for the weekend. It's always good to see them. We only basically get together with them twice a year, one time at our place, one time at theirs. And of course, this coincided with Christmas this year. So, we had to have a special festive dinner, and we did. And here's my table setting. I'm in, as Walter likes to call it, whorehouse red, okay, for Christmas. I thought my table setting was pretty. That's why I decided to share it with you. The table runner in the middle is one that I made some time ago, and it was very nice. We had a very nice dinner. We did surf and turf. We had steak and lobster tails, and we had a good time. And I probably drank, well, it's not probably, drank more wine than I usually do. I really try to limit myself to 1 or 2 glasses at the most on the weekend of wine. Well, this time I pretty much limited it myself to 1 or 2 as well. They just weren't glasses, if you get my point. But it was nice to see them. We had a really great time catching up. They're doing lots of traveling in the new year as well. Lots of cruises and things and other things that they're doing. And yeah, so we've known them for over 40 years. It's hard to believe. Yeah. And as I said, we only basically get together twice a year, but it's like no time has gone by. So that was great this weekend. That was a highlight of the weekend. So what's coming up? Well, Pop-Up So Day, December the 20th. So a week from this coming Saturday. And so December 20th, there'll be the link for it and everything else and more details about it. I'm hoping to make it a fairly festive occasion. Not that they're not when we have other Pop-Up So Days, but it is the season, right? So that's December 20th. And just take a look this Wednesday. We will have the next edition of our opening of the Missouri Star Quilt Advent Box. So the next 5 days, days 6 to 10, will all be opened, or the video that we made for that will be live this Wednesday. So check that out. That's what, December the 10th. Yeah. And there's probably lots of other things going on because it is the busy time of the year. But for me, I've got to get on with other things that I have to do today, like go out for my walk. I'm already late. So I hope you have a great week. Tune in to Idiot Quilter tomorrow. And of course, So Chatty. So Chatty this week, we're doing another unboxing, but it's actually an unbagging of the Kawartha Quilt Shop's annual Santa Sack. And if you've been here for any time, you've seen us open it up the last couple of years, and it's always fun to do. So we're doing that this coming Friday on So Chatty. And then, of course, we have Stephen and Walter Live coming up this Sunday. So lots going on. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you're not feeling too tense or guilty about the season. Just enjoy it because it only comes but once a year. Thank God. See you later.